All right. Okay, let me see. Okay, maybe go. All right. All right, so let's see again if we could figure out what the GCF for this for the polynomial is. Okay, well, right away you can see that there's a non-zero constant term, and because of that, we're going to take our m to be 0, which again means that we can't factor out x at all. Okay, what about the coefficients and the constant term? Well, let's look at the factors of 2 and 5. I mean, for 2 alone, right, you're going to have just 1, and you're going to have 2. Right, those are the only factors of 2. Okay. Now, if you look at the factors of 5, you would get 1 and 5. Well, that tells you right away that the only factor in common to all of the numbers, to 12, 2, 30, and 5, have to be 1. Because 2 and 5 only have a common factor of 1. So the only common factor among all the numbers has to be 1. You know, the only number they all share is 1. So our B would be 1, and our GCF, which is again bx to the m, would be 1. X to the 0, I guess, which is 1. So, okay. So that's what we get here. Okay. Now, what do we do next? We want to form 2 groups, right? We have 12. I'm writing out the polynomial again. But again, because of the minus 30, you have to be careful. Because let's say I decided without thinking to form these 2 groups. Well, something's wrong here, isn't it? Right? There's something wrong. And why is that? Well, this is actually not the original polynomial we started with. Let me show you off to this. Let me show you. So I'm going to take this. So we have 12x cubed plus 2x squared. I'm just going to show you off to the side why. Okay, let me just move this over. So let's say again I did this without thinking. Well, if I were to wait, can you see it? Okay, if I were to distribute this negative like so, what am I going to get? I'm actually going to get this. You know, minus 30x, that's from the first negative, but then I would have plus 5. Well, hopefully you can see that this is not the same thing we're starting with, right? We have minus 5 in the beginning, not plus 5. And that's why when you form the parentheses, you have to be careful. And my way of being careful here is making sure the third term is always addition. You're always adding it, that is. So what I do is I like to change subtraction to adding the negative. So let me do that. So let me just erase all this. Start again. So again, we have 12x cubed plus 2x squared. So we have minus 30x minus 5. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make that subtraction into I'm going to think of it as adding the negative, okay? Because now if you form parentheses, it's a little bit easier to be careful, right? Because here I can do this. Actually, as you can see, okay? That's why I like to keep addition. I like to make it so that we're adding a third term, not subtracting. But now we can factor each of those groups individually. Okay, so let's handle the first one. Okay, hold on, let me fix my handwriting. There we go. Okay. Okay, so we want to get the, what do you call it, the GCF of this thing, this 12x cubed business. Let me just bring it down a bit. Okay. Well, you can see that the smallest exponent of x here, our m is 2, right? And we can see, and we know that 2 is a factor of 12. So b is going to be 2 as well. So again, the coefficient 2 here, right, is a factor of 12. So if you were to list the factors, your greatest common factor among the numbers, 2 and 12, is 2. So in this case, our GCF is 2x squared. So we can factor that out. So we have 2x squared times, let me just get more room here, 12x cubed over 2x squared plus 2x squared over 2x squared. Okay, again, we're factoring it out, but then we're dividing. Doing so, we get 2x squared times 12 over 2 is 6, x cubed over x squared, well, that's just x, and 2x squared over itself, that's 1, as you can see. All right, that's good. For the next term, that is for the, oh, it's right in front of me, minus 30x minus 5, right? Let me get that over here. We have to factor out a negative. I mean, you could probably see that anyway from the beginning, because if you went back to the original problem, I can't speak, to the original problem, you would see the second and the fourth term have opposite signs, right? The second term is plus 2x squared. The fourth term is minus 5. So because of that, we have to factor out a negative here. Now, let's first find its GCF. So we have, there's a non-zero constant term. So there's a term with no x. So we take our m to be 0. We have b. Well, we have 5 here, right? Is a factor of 30. So that means our b is going to be 5. In other words, the greatest common factor among minus 30 and 5 has to be 5. Does that make sense? Is that a yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. So from here, we get our GCF is just 5. But again, you have to factor out a negative, so we're going to factor out negative 5. So we have negative 30x over minus 5 over minus 5. And we get minus 5 times negative 30x over negative 5 is 6x. And we have minus negative 1. Actually, excuse me, that's plus 1. Because again, we have minus 5 over negative 5, which is minus negative 1, which is plus 1. And notice that when you factored, right, in each of our, how do I say it? In each of these groups, we get a factor of 6x plus 1. That's good. That's what we want. So that tells us that, oh, geez. So basically, altogether, let me see, we're running low on time. Let me just quickly finish this. Altogether, our answer is going to be 2x, oh, geez, come on. 2x squared times 6x plus 1 plus negative 5, 6x plus 1. Boy, these problems are too long. And then you just take out the 6x plus 1 and we get this. Running out of time, so bear with me. And we get this. I think I may have to do more problems and then post it. So we are out of time, actually. So I know these problems are kind of long. So again, we have to stop here. I think it's 1:50 now. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll post more problems for people to watch on YouTube. And then on Friday we'll do more factoring. It's actually going to involve factoring by grouping. So we'll see this again. So we'll stop